Bates Motel Season 2, Episode 5, The Escape Artist. Now, this episode is probably my favorite in the season so far, and it's definitely because, like I knew from the very first episode of this season, the drug war is just escalating, and it always gives us the best moments. At least, in my opinion, it gives us the best moments in every single episode. And in this one, there were confrontations, there were shootouts. We got to meet the big boss at the end, which I love that that was the ending to this episode because we get the big boss. So she came into town, and she came in, I would assume, she said it was just to meet Dillon. But if she's in town, then she has a reason to be in town, and they're going to be really ramping things up. But this was a great episode. Romero attacked her brother, I believe his name is Zane, beat the crap out of him for torching his house, because of course it was Zane. So he gets beat up. I don't know who sent the hit squad after him. It could have been Romero who talked to some other people, but I think he did what he had to do. So it might have just been the other family finally just trying to get rid of this guy because they know all that's going to happen is back and forth murders. So after Zane and Dillon, eat at the restaurant, they go out. There's a drive-by. Dillon pushes him down. He shoots at the car. I thought that was a cool scene. Dillon really stepped up. It seems like he doesn't really fear getting shot at. And of course the car was driving away, but he hit the car a little bit. And then they actually turned around, which does not happen in a drive-by. But instead of freaking out and taking off, he just pops out one clip, reloads it so he has all his bullets, and he just walks in the middle of the street like Terminator or something. He's just shooting at this car that's flying towards him. And he does kill the passenger, so he didn't just miss everything. And he didn't get shot. I wasn't sure if he gets shot and hit, or if he gets shot and maybe just jump out of the way. That's kind of what I was thinking. He would just get hit in the arm or something and jump off. But he kills the passenger and he gets hit by the car and gets knocked out. And that leads us to meeting the big boss in the end of this episode. But it was a really good episode, even without those moments. There were some good points in it, but those were without a doubt my favorite moments. Other stuff was much smaller moments that are going to affect the rest of the season, like Norman ending up with Cody. They do actually get together in this episode. And also, towards the end of this episode, Emma ends up with the weed guy, and they go out on the date, and then at the end of the episode, they're in bed. But those are just little relationship things. With Norman's relationship, Cody did meet his mother, and I love that scene where she was just being herself. She was just smoking, and loud music was playing, and Norma clearly didn't like her from the start. It was just this girl smoking, loud music playing out of a rusty car. You could see it in her face that she didn't like Cody, and I love that scene. It was just really, really funny, and Cody was just being herself, being rebellious. When Norma walks up and says, "I'm Norman's mother," she's just like, "How about that?" And it's just so disrespectful, but it was an amazing little awkward moment that they had, and it was before they even spoke. You knew Norma just wasn't gonna like this girl, and she of course doesn't want Norman to see her anymore. But he's gonna do what he wants. He's changing a bit, and also one of the big things that happens because of that relationship is that he does finally tell someone about him actually blacking out. He doesn't just say I forgot and stuff like that. He actually admits I black out. There are moments where I forget what happens to me. And I thought that was really interesting, even though it's only been one season where that's happened. It happens a few times, and during those scenes, he either attacks someone and tries to kill him, like with Caleb last time, or he actually kills someone like he did with his teacher. But he told someone, so the secret's out there, and I saw the preview for the next episode, so Emma does find out somehow. But I thought that was a really good development for his character, and it shows how connected he really is to Cody. If he actually told her, even though Emma's been there from the very beginning, they're just friends, and he actually likes this girl, and she's sort of that rebellious spirit. I think that's why he confides in her a little bit. He knows she won't really tell my secrets because she doesn't really have anyone to tell my secrets to, because she doesn't really like anybody but me. She has other people she talks to, but there's really no one like me in her life, and there's no one like her in my life. So they do have a really interesting bond, and I'm curious to see how long they stay together throughout this series, if it's just this season and she leaves, or something happens and they decide we'll just be friends or whatever. But I do like her being in the show because it has brought out some stuff in Norman that we wouldn't get to see otherwise. Because the only other girl in his life really is Emma, and she's a good person. And I mean, Cody's a good person too. It's not like she's a murderer, but she's the rebellious one, and Emma's obviously the good girl. She does what she's supposed to do, and Cody lives in a crappy life, and we got to see more about her. We saw her deal with her father, and who knows what's going on there. He might be abusive. He's probably just not a good dad. It's obvious that he's not, but we don't know the specifics yet. But we did get an actual glimpse of that, so that was an interesting part of the episode too. But overall, love this episode. I'd have to say it's honestly my favorite episode so far. But I cannot wait to see how things progress. And I'm really excited to see just how things progress with Norman once his mother actually does find out about him blacking out and stuff. And also, and I almost skipped over this, another little relationship between Norma and Romero started up in this. And who knows, they could end up together. I highly doubt it because of how crazy Norma is and how obvious it is that she is crazy to Romero and just the things they've been involved in. But they had that little moment where she was helping him out, and he found out that she's with, I believe his name is John Ford, but Ford, whatever his name is. She found out that he's a part of the drug community, and in the end of this episode, when the one city council member dies, the only thing I thought was that she's really screwed right now, especially because of what she said, not just her involvement with Ford, and the fact that she had the report from the biologist sent to all the city council members, but what she specifically said about the one council member that she doesn't like, who was the guy trying to get the bypass put in more than anyone else, she said, "Tell him Norma Bates says hello," and now he's dead. That one line can instantly put her in, the sights of Romero himself, and he'll probably figure some things out. Like, you sent this report in, which you got from Ford, and this isn't exactly on the level, really. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out for sure, and just to see how she balances the fact that she now knows who Ford really is, but she does need his help in order to save her business. I'm excited to see how that aspect works for her, especially now that Romero is flat out staying at the motel. So if Ford ever comes around, which I don't think he really will, just because of the drug war going on with the town, he's still there. Romero is still at the motel, and Norma's gonna have to figure out how not to be obvious that she's just lying to him about working with Ford still. But love the episode. Can't wait for upcoming episodes. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. Favorite parts, least favorite parts, and definitely tell me, where do you guys think things are gonna go now that the big boss of the entire drug world, or well, not drug world, but the drug community within the city, now that she's in there, how do you guys think things are gonna go? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.